By 1915, Charlie Chaplin was earning over $1,000 a week, a massive fortune at the time, and commanded the adoration of a global audience. Yet, less than 2 decades earlier, he was a starving child with no home. To understand his rise, we have to look at London in 1895. At 6 years old, Chaplin was wandering these exact streets. He was freezing, wearing rags, and completely ignored by the adults walking past him. His father had already abandoned the family. His mother, Hannah, tried to keep them afloat by singing in small theaters, but her health failed. When her voice gave out, the income stopped entirely. Eventually, she suffered a severe mental breakdown, and the government institutionalized her in an asylum. By 7 years old, Chaplin was a ward of the state with no family to protect him. This early experience of total powerlessness created a persistent need for security and self-reliance that would heavily influence his later business decisions. With no parents to claim them, Charlie and his older brother Sidney were thrown into a Victorian workhouse. These were brutal, unforgiving institutions designed to extract hard labor from poor children in exchange for meager rations and a cold bed. But inside those dark walls, a strange survival mechanism emerged. While others were crushed by misery, Chaplin contorted his face, he exaggerated his walk, he performed silly routines, and the starving children laughed. In that brief window of laughter, they forgot their hunger. For Chaplin, pantomime became a shield. It gave a powerless orphan his first real taste of importance and control. By age 14, he channeled this skill into the local theater circuit. He learned how to manipulate his body on stage, realizing that physical movement communicated far more immediately than spoken dialogue. The stage became his literal exit strategy from poverty. Physical comedy became his primary weapon against human suffering. By 1910, an American film company recruited Chaplin. He arrived in a booming, massive country, but his initial films flopped. Theater actors were trained to perform with massive, sweeping gestures so the back row could see them. Put those same movements in front of an intimate close-up camera lens, and it looked ridiculous. Chaplin had to unlearn his entire craft. The pressure mounted until a freezing day in Los Angeles in 1914. A frustrated director at Keystone Studios told Chaplin they were losing light. He gave him exactly 30 minutes to go into the dressing room, find a funny costume, and save the shoot. Chaplin grabbed items that actively fought each other. A small, painfully tight jacket paired with enormous baggy pants, huge shoes, a tiny derby hat, and a cheap cane. The physical contradictions were highly intentional. He engineered the silhouette of a man living on the lowest rungs of the social ladder, who was desperately trying to project the manners and dignity of a high society gentleman. He walked onto the set, and the Tramp was born. Audiences across the United States, and soon the globe, reacted immediately. Within months, Chaplin went from earning $150 a week to signing a contract for over $1,200 a week. The character worked because it was authentic. Chaplin took the struggle of his own childhood, packaged it in physical comedy, and projected it outward. Viewers who were struggling to survive saw their own fight reflected back at them on the screen. The money poured in, but cash alone couldn't erase the anxiety of the workhouse. To ensure he would never be at the mercy of others again, Chaplin set his sights on conquering the Hollywood system itself. He stopped just acting and took over the director's chair. With total control over the camera, he started injecting real tragedy into his films. In 1921, he released The Kid, a story about the tramp raising a penniless orphan. It was one of the very first comedies that actively tried to make the audience cry. He then systematically removed the studio executives from the equation. Alongside Mary Pickford, Douglas Fairbanks, and D.W. Griffith, Chaplin signed a document creating United Artists. They built their own distribution company to keep all the profits and creative rights entirely for themselves. By 1931, the entire industry had pivoted to movies with sound. Chaplin refused to comply. He financed and released City Lights as a silent film, relying entirely on visual storytelling, and it dominated the box office anyway. He wrote, directed, starred in, and financed his own art. The street kid from London had insulated himself completely. By owning the business, he ensured no one could ever tell him what to do again. That unchecked independence eventually made him a target. In 1940, with Europe plunging into war but America still maintaining its neutrality, Chaplin decided to weaponize his global platform. He wrote and directed The Great Dictator, playing two completely opposite roles. One was a poor Jewish barber like the Tramp, the other a ruthless fascist leader directly satirizing Adolf Hitler. The film was a massive commercial success, but it infuriated powerful political figures. The US government opened investigations into his personal life and political leanings. Newspapers ran aggressive campaigns labeling him a communist sympathizer and a threat to American values. The final blow came in 1952. While Chaplin was sailing to Europe for a movie premiere, the US Attorney General revoked his re-entry visa. Unless he agreed to political interrogations, he was barred from returning to his home of 40 years. He chose instead to stay in Switzerland, forced into a 2-decade exile. The nation that had embraced him as a voiceless, entertaining vagabond locked him out the exact moment he decided to use his actual voice to challenge political power. It took 20 years for the political climate to thaw. In April 1972, an 83-year-old Charlie Chaplin finally stepped back onto American soil. He traveled to Los Angeles to accept an honorary Academy Award. As the frail, white-haired director walked onto the stage, the Hollywood elite rose to their feet. They clapped for a full 12 minutes. In that room, the decades of political hostility dissolved. The audience chose to recognize the pure humanity he had captured on celluloid, offering a final moment of healing before he passed away quietly 5 years later. Chaplin started with nothing but hunger and a broken family. He took that profound suffering and engineered it into a universal language of comedy and resilience. His survival gave us a body of work that continues to remind the world what it means to be human.